Hello and welcome back. It's been a couple weeks since I've been here, and that's kind of not good, but it's okay because I'm here now and I'm back just in time for the start of Inktober, which I'm definitely not 4 days late on. Shoosh! I'm getting to it, I swear. I've just been really busy with schoolwork and personal projects and all this kind of stuff. All that jazz, you might say. But I'm here now and I'm doing 3 Inktober day prompts in this video. The first prompt was ring, and I didn't just want to draw somebody with a ring on their finger. I do end up doing that, but it's not like the main focus. So I immediately thought of like the ring. So I wanted to sort of draw somebody crawling out from a ring, I guess. I'm actually, okay, I don't usually get very excited about a lot of the stuff I do in art, but this hand I am thrilled by. I can't even begin to explain how thrilled I am with this hand. It looks fantastic. It looks so good. I am honking, tooting my own horn. It is amazing, and I will not take any criticism on that hand whatsoever. Everything else is like fair game. But I swear to God, that hand is fantastic. Okay, so like, don't say anything. My only regret is that it isn't spooky, or I would have liked to have the fingers be like long and spindly, you know, creepy like. But I didn't really have very many plans outside of like somebody crawling through a ring. So my sketch, I wanted it to look kind of like creepy and kind of like emaciated and ghosty. So I gave her that long hair in front of her face that a lot of ghosts have. Oh gosh, that hand, damn. Line art, on point. So good. I think out of all of the drawings I did, this is actually my favorite, which is weird because when I was doing it, I was like, this is just a warm-up, because I was kind of hating it. Like, this is just a warm-up. It's okay. The other ones will be better. But I actually think I like this one best out of all 3 that I did, so I peaked. I'm also not a traditional artist, usually, so doing anything traditionally is vaguely frustrating and kind of, like, weird. Because like I can't do all these things that I can do digitally. Like I wanted to do, when I was doing this, I was like, dang, this would look really good with some like layer masks and some adjustment layers. Damn, look at the shading on that hand. Oh, I'm just so happy. But anyway, there were certain things that like once I put the ink down, I was like, oh my God, I should not have done that. But I think I managed to make it work in a way that wasn't terrible. I know, almost nothing about inks. I've used, micron pens, the technical drawing pens, to do ink before, but I've never really done it with a brush, so that was kind of a new experience. And of course I'm using like water with the ink, and I'm not sure like how that would react or anything, but I think I kind of got a little bit of a handle on it, and I'm actually really happy with a lot of the contrast in this piece as well. This first one I really liked. I was really happy with it. I think that one of the hardest parts about using the ink was like it didn't lift in the way I was expecting it to. Like I used a lot of watercolors, but the ink was absolutely unforgiving. If I messed up, I messed up. But I was also sort of rushing this because I had somewhere to be. So you'll see everything just changed there, right there. And that's because I just got back, and I decided I needed to put some shading under her hands to really make it look like she was crawling through, that her hands were like on something. And I spilled water all over the place, and now my desk has ink stains on it, but it's okay. So after putting the shadows down on that one, it was done. I'm really pleased with the way this one looks. I give a little thumbs up to the camera. And day 2's prompt was mindless. And I already had something in mind for what I wanted to do for this one. But the execution was a lot harder than, I was than I was thinking it was gonna be, because in my head I was like, after that one, this one's gonna be so easy. I draw like girls and people all the time, but I couldn't get her face right for the life of me. I tried so many times, I looked up so many references, and I end up not doing the image from the side. But I don't know, just in digital art I can do like a billion layers of sketches and see through each one and pick the lines that I like and control undo the lines until I'm fully satisfied with them. And one of the harder parts of this particular one was her nose. I just couldn't get it to look right at all. Whereas I think I was making it too big, but in a digital environment I could just select and make it smaller. So I think one of my main goals for Inktober, if hopefully I get through all of them, is to practice working on my traditional art a little bit, maybe get back into sketching, because I have sketchbooks that I never use. If I sketch, I just use like my iPad Pro or my drawing tablet. But I ended up doing sort of like a generic front-facing girl, which, you know, like, I wanted to experiment a bit, but it's okay, it's fine, it still looks decent, so that's okay. And I wanted her to have like this big galaxy sort of thing coming out of her head, but I was having a hard time thinking of how to do it, because obviously, you know, galaxies are colorful and stuff. I thought I would just color it in black and then use a white gel pen on top to kind of like add some stars, add some variation, add some like cool lines and stuff, but that doesn't end up working out. So I end up having to cheat with this one a little bit, but I hope I can be forgiven, maybe, possibly. I don't really have an issue with doing line art on top of sketches, because I do that all the time digitally as well. What I do have a bit of an issue with is moving too quickly when I do it. A lot of my line art is really messy and not connected properly and all that stuff. But one of the advantages of doing things traditionally is I don't have a fill bucket tool, so my lines don't need to be connected. I can have a little bit of fun with that. I made a mistake here. I tried to give her blush. I initially put down like a dollop of ink on each cheek and tried to give her blush, but it doesn't work great, so I kind of dab it off, but yeah, it's there and it looks patchy, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted. I was going to leave her skin white, but I did want to add that blush, and then once I did, I was like, I should just make the whole skin different, and it also made her white eyes pop out a little more. I wanted to leave those blank because, you know, if she's mindless, she's got nothing in her head, and it's just the void of space, so I wasn't used to this either, covering like a large section in ink, and this is not like the first time I've done inked work, but it's the first time I've done inked work that's not like super planned and super technical and done using like a light board and all that, so I thought I would give her some cute little freckles that look like stars, and they look pretty good, but immediately I was noticing a problem, and that's that the white gel pen I have just does not work. It doesn't stand out enough against the ink, and it didn't help that the ink wasn't fully dried either, so that messed up the gel pen, so I got a tube of golden artist paint, I mean acrylic paint, not artist paint, and I would just use the brush to do some stars and stuff with that. I was trying to do these like swirl galaxy things, but they didn't come across right because the brush was a little bit thick. I think they probably would have looked a little better with like a very thin gel pen or whatever, but I don't have enough skill with a paintbrush to do tiny thin little lines. But I do end up turning them into something that I think looks like nebulas or, you know, space dust, space clouds, and I end up being pretty happy with them. Yeah, I mean, just putting stars all over the place. This one is basically done. I don't do too much more on that. But yeah, I fluff the like the cloud parts and try and make it look like a night sky and super fluffy and super soft. And I'm pretty happy with the way this one turned out as well. Not my favorite, didn't go perfectly, but I think it sort of like conveys the prompt, and it does look like what I was hoping it would look like in my head for the most part. I'm really happy with that. And the final one, I decided to switch up the orientation because I had done 2 portrait ones, and I was like, you know what? This one might look good as a landscape. And I don't know if that was the right choice to make, but who knows? I kind of like the way it turned out. Again, when I was doing this one, I was just thinking about how much better I could make it if I just had like my blending modes. I'm like, I could have done some really cool shadow stuff, but again, it's like this kind of thing, this kind of challenge is going to be really useful to me, I think. Just in doing things without the assistance of blending modes and stuff. So the prompt word for day 3 was bait. And I'm kind of okay with how it turned out. I do like a lot of the stuff about it. I like the idea, but I feel like compositionally this isn't the strongest way I could have done this. And I actually, a couple semesters ago in school, I think 2 semesters ago now, I did a figure drawing class, and we did a ton of anatomical drawings. So I actually have a sketchbook full of drawings of bones and muscles and stuff like that. And I didn't even think of pulling it out while I was working on this. I was just like, I vaguely remember this is what it looks like. And then when I went into, and then I remembered I had it, and I was like, dang, maybe I can try and fix some of this. So I get up and I get my little red sketchbook, and it's got all these drawings of bones and stuff in it, and I see like instantly that I've made a bunch of mistakes in terms of like the shapes of things and how the bones connect, but there's nothing I could do at this point because I'd already lined everything. So I just did the best I could, trying to fix some things up. But it's definitely something that in the future I might want to reference a bit more closely if I draw some more skeletons in Inktober. So you can see the little hand up in the corner there. And I was doing some hatching shading on this at first, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, especially on the skull. But I thought that just because of the simple fact that I hadn't shaped things correctly, that doing exclusively hatch shading wouldn't be as effective as doing a little bit of a blend of both. I don't know if you can actually tell what's going on in this drawing, but this big old giant skeleton has a little like finger puppet on, and he's baiting this little creature, little human possibly. I don't know, they have like doll eyes. This little creature is baiting them with the finger puppet. So that's why I thought, you know, prompt word 3, bait. Here I am trying to lift some of that color off the skull because I darkened it too fast. And I accidentally spilled ink all over the place, so I ended up making it look like clouds to make it look like they're much, much higher up in the sky. So, happy accidents, you know, as a certain artist would say. I'm mostly okay with this one. I feel like it could have had some stronger contrasts. But when I added stronger contrast, like in the teeth and the head, it didn't look the best. So I thought it needed more contrast, but that I was doing the contrast wrong. I also was thinking about like the viewpoint that we have here, and I think it might have been more effective if the viewpoint wasn't from the side but from the back of the character on the far right, because then I do all this like foggy misty stuff in front of him to try and like conceal the fact that he's baiting this person, but you can't really tell. So that's basically it. Those are my first 3 days of Inktober. Those are the first 3 days of Inktober done. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try to get videos out more regularly. I'm sorry. But I hope you have a wonderful day and all that jazz.